Take a look at the word visa in here. There's no visa defined in this. Just those two uses of it. So I read this pretty thoroughly, except the last few pages. I had to go off and help my daughter, so I have to read the last 6 or 7 pages more thoroughly. And they seem rather important because they wrapped everything all up. Okay, Don, as usual, you have a lot of noise in the background.
Tom, I read it, and I hate reading stuff that I can't apply to what I'm doing, and I couldn't apply it. I was completely lost when I read it. I understood what I was supposed to be reading, but I couldn't apply it with the process. So,
I think this will be a case of reading between the lines, and remember there are 3 places where he emboldened the words. We emboldened in Article 7 the definitions. And Article 21 says if an endorsement contains the words here for collection, for deposit, value in collection, by procuration, pay any bank, or words of similar import authorizing the endorsee to collect the instrument, the endorsee is a holder who may exercise all rights arising out of the instruments, may endorse the instruments only for purpose of collection, is subject only to the claims and defenses which may be set up against the endorser. The endorser for collection is not liable on the instrument for any subsequent holder. So that's one of the emboldened parts. I think we'll amount to there's a few key things we have to see how it fits with what we're already doing. And that's what Patrick's good at is seeing how something unexpected actually does apply to what we're doing. And even though it seems far-fetched at first, the more you get into it, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
Now, we were doing the bills of exchange before. Oh, yes. One of the things that caught my attention was the terminology. Okay, here's another highlight in the concepts of holder and protected holder. And it's point 20, paragraph number 22. And that would be on, what's the page number? Page 50. Well, paragraph number 22 when dealing with the rights of the holder of an instrument and the limitations of those rights by the claims and defenses of others, the draftees of the convention that drew up these rules were obliged to make a selection between the radically distinct yet justifiable approaches to civil and common law system. And highlighted by Patrick, the solution chosen was a pragmatic two-tier system that distinguishes between a mere holder and a protected holder. The rights of the protected holder are freed by the claims and defenses of other persons, are freed from the claims and defenses of other persons to a greater extent than are the rights vested in the ordinary holder. So I think that's the bridging between the two legal systems was key here, and I think there's another place where he highlighted something.
Thomas? Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Sylvia.
Very well.
Is
Hi,
Patrick
Sylvia.
coming in? Is
He
Patrick coming
should be
tonight?
in, but I don't see him yet.
Okay. All right.
I think so.
Okay, I'm going to mute.
I talked with him earlier,
Okay.
but he hasn't arrived.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. I'll mute.
Okay. I think I'll turn off the recording until he arrives.
Folder on paragraph
Yeah?
6. On paragraph 6, it says, you are their donkey, their slave. There is spelled incorrectly. It's T-H-E-I-R, not T-H-E-R-E. Are you guys looking at that document or something else?
Yeah, we were looking at that document.
Okay, in the 6th, where it says the straw man is a fake identity, on the last sentence, there is their donkey and their slave is spelled.
Are you talking about Bill of Exchange reference?
Correct.
Doc?
Yes.
Because I don't remember that the word straw man being used anywhere in that document.
Well, I see it. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, it's in the next to the last paragraph on the last post that was put up. It's the Bill of Exchange. Tom, what you were just reading on articles on page 50 there, the very first page that was set up called Bills of Exchange.
Oh, that's right. That was he told us to ignore that page, that it had some errors.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I guess that's why I didn't remember reading it, because I didn't read it.
So that's just explanations. You're not really using it. It's just understanding for us to read.
Right.
Okay.
When in the charter notes that I put up, that said, study the document, Bill of Exchange reference, doc for maturity. Skip the first page. It has some misunderstandings in it.
Okay. Interpretations, and then Chapter 3 transfer, all that stuff. The blue writing. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Are you referring to the
Okay.
You're referring to the 55-page bill of exchange. Pardon?
It's right under that page that you said the scrap. It's that it starts in blue and it's a Word document. It's 55 pages, and yes, to answer that question before, and that's what you were referring to.
Right.
Yeah.
Now he's saying that there are some misunderstandings. I'd be interested in exactly what they are. Can we spot them? We're not using the concept of straw man anymore, because it really isn't functioning as a straw man. It's functioning as a main account.
Yeah. So what else are you looking at in the blue writing area? You said it's right below it. You said it's a 55-page document. Where's that at?
You read the first page. There's the other 54 pages of the document.
Oh, okay.
Scroll down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just in the table of contents or something still.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, if you scroll down to page 50, you'll see that there's some bolded words in there, and Tom's going through that whole document, and you're referring to the bolded words in there, right, Tom? Yeah,
yes.
He's making an emphasis. He's making an emphasis throughout the whole document, and it's in certain places where the words are bold.
Okay.
Right, and he also wants us to look at the definite maturity, which is on page 9.
It's on quite a few pages. If you just do a word search, you'll find it in there.
Okay.
But you need to look at the definitions about what maturity says also. Okay? Yeah. And that's what one of the major problems is, that people are not mature, okay? They've never accomplished that, to have a mature understanding. They think they're mature, but basically they never realized that basically they reached their maturity at the age of 25. Okay, that's right in the Constitution.
Yep.
To be a representative, you had to obtain the age of 25. And basically, when a man reaches that age, basically they have fully matured. They're supposed to be fully matured, and then it's downhill after that. You can't be a representative of another man if you're a debtor. So all these representatives and everything that you think you've got out here, basically, they're all operating in fraud because they're all debtors. Any comment?
You mentioned that before, and they're in debt because they're in bondage to the bankers, I guess.
Yes, they're being controlled by somebody. Okay, so they're not free out here to represent anybody.
And biblically, that's not correct either.
Yes, that is.
Oh, it is? I mean, no, it is correct, but I mean, we're not supposed to be in debt.
Well, but basically, you can never represent another man if you're in debt. Someone else is controlling you. They have say over you. So when you go to vote for something, you're not voting your free will. You're voting what that other person who has a debt over you is telling you what to vote. That's why basically half the damn laws that get passed, the people don't want them but yet they're passed because the bankers want them. The ones that are holding the debt over these other representatives.
Patrick?
Yeah.
I've heard this explained that the creditor has all the rights and the debtor has only privileges granted by the creditor.
Yeah, that's true, but basically we're also the owner, okay? We're not the beneficial owner, okay? And see, they're the beneficial owner. We are the true owner.
Right.
Okay? The true owner is basically the one who does not have to pay. Basically, the beneficial owner is the one that has to pay. And see, all of our contracts have matured. They were basically there under the Social Security contract. Contracts were to be let in 7 years, 18 to 25. Selective service, military obligation, 18 to 25, 7 years. Even in Title 46, Chapter 573, the age of 25. For the Constitution, to be a freed man, you had to have obtained the age of 25. Therefore, you are freed of all debt. If you did have a debt, you would petition, and basically that's what they put into the first volume of the statutes at large, that basically if you did have a debt, you could petition the Secretary of the Treasury to draw the funds out of the Treasury and pay your debt, because the Treasury belongs to the people. Now, they've got us under this false scenario of being a debtor in the process, because the Social Security card is a promissory note. It's a negotiable instrument in all aspects. It doesn't have Social Security Administration on the front of that Social Security card. It just says Social Security. Well, whose Social Security is it? Read the definition about Social Security and the Social Security Act. It is for our welfare that that Social Security account was to be set up, to have funds there to pay our bills for us. It is our public banking system. The Federal Reserve is for the corporations.
But can we be in their books or in their records as a debtor and a creditor, and it's up to us to change the status to stop being
You've got to
incomers?
rebut their claim that you are a debtor.
Right. So when I hung up by mistake when someone came after you said any comments, and I'm kind of catching up
You have
here,
to do a
but
foreign affidavit to
because
state
you were
that.
saying that what you were reading, that it applies to the public servants, but maybe
No.
it
Listen,
applies to our
you're
person.
talking too much. Listen to me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a foreign affidavit to rebut their claim that you are a debtor. you are the vessel owner.
Mm-hmm.
They have your vessel, the Social Security vessel. They've drawn funds out of your birth certificate vessel and put it on this Social Security vessel. Now, you're the owner of that vessel. Now, as the owner, you're also the creditor.
Yes.
They are the beneficial owner of that vessel that is now under charter to them, but they owe you the rent, and they've been depriving us of paying that rent to us, holding it in a safety or a safe deposit box in an offshore account. Therefore, they've deprived us from our welfare that was supposed to be guaranteed to us under the promissory note, the Social Security card.
What part of the Constitution were you referring to?
In what regard? 25?
When you came in, yeah, you.
I was referring to the age of 25.
Okay.
That basically, to be a representative in this country, you had to be 25.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's right there, plain as day, right in front of you. You can't be basically in debt to anybody and be a representative. You also can't be a representative if you were representative last term. You've got to sit out one term. Same thing with the president, and basically also with the senators. But nobody knows how to read the Constitution. I've said this numerous times. We have to hold their feet to the fire, okay? One other item, okay, out here is basically the canons of judicial and canons of professional ethics and canons of judicial ethics. Most all of these guys that are in there are under the American Bar Association. They are required to operate under the canons of judicial ethics and also the canons of professional ethics. You don't worry about their oaths of office, because these canons of judicial and canons of professional ethics are basically by the American Bar Association. Now, if they violate those ethics, you can do a foreign affidavit against them and have their bar card removed. They're out of a job. That's how you go after these guys if they do not operate in proper ethics. But see, if you don't bring that up, basically they will run right over you. And you have to come in as the fiduciary in all actions, because you're the vessel owner. So everything you do out here is by a foreign affidavit. Therefore, now they are required to accept that document and process it. Before, if you didn't have that foreign affidavit, they don't have to accept it. The example that I tried to give before was that if you have a college degree and you go over to France and want to teach over there, you can't just show up and say, hey, here's my college degree. France is going to say, bullshit, I don't have to accept that. But if you come in with it under a state of where you got your degree under an apostille by the secretary of that state, then per the Hague Convention, France or whoever you went to get the job with, they have to accept it. Now, whether they give you the job or not, that's still up in the air because you may not qualify because you're a complete idiot, even though you got a damn degree. The same thing holds true here in this country. Every state is foreign to one another. A state is a different governmental system. Therefore, the de jure government and the de facto government are foreign to one another. Therefore, even in your state, you are operating in a foreign capacity to the foreign de facto government. So you have to have a foreign affidavit. It's that simple. Then they have to take that document because they're under the Constitution that they have to take and accept that document. But up until that point in time, they don't have to accept it. Now, some judges have been pretty nice about it and have accepted different documents, and some people have gotten resolved in that process. But the vast majority of them basically come in there and basically act belligerent, and basically that judge ain't going to cut you any slack whatsoever. Also, it is totally against the law in this country to operate with bills of attainder. That means inflicting a punishment without a trial, unless you have actually caused physical harm or you are a detriment to yourself. They cannot incarcerate you. And that is per the Constitution. Article 1, Section 9, and Article 1, Section 10. The states cannot do it either. Most all of your court actions are going to be maritime. Not admiralty, maritime. The states have capability to have maritime courts. They do not have jurisdiction to do admiralty courts. You have so many outs here. Basically, if you would just look around, okay? Basically, the Baby Act. I've said this before. Is basically that you can basically plead the Baby Act, okay? And this could also be classified and supported as a canological purgation, 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 an ancient proceeding whereby the defendant charged with crime was permitted to clear himself by denying the charge under oath. And that also goes, if any of these maritime courts try and charge you with contempt of court, you can immediately respond to that contempt of court statement that, go ahead, basically I will just turn around and I will purge myself of that charge. And that will shut them right up. Because you are the vessel owner. You really have charge over that whole court. This is the same as a king's court. You sit over both the judge and the prosecutor and basically in the defendant capacity when you come in as the fiduciary over your vessel. Because you're standing also as the fiduciary over the charterer. And even that judge is under a charter. He's under a governmental charter, and basically, therefore, he is a public servant to you as an American vessel owner. See where I'm going with all this?
Mm-hmm.
Our assets are held in a safety deposit box, basically down in Puerto Rico. The safety deposit system in this country was set up back in, it was either Buchanan or Lincoln's time frame. You can go through the statutes at large and basically do a search, either 14th or 15th volume, and do a word search for safety deposit. I found that before and I got it somewhere. And you're the only one that has access to authorize. You have the key to open that safety deposit box. And allow the credits to come out. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
On that charter and guarantor Word document, I've got about 8 pages to it now.
Oh.
I posted that one thing up on the website there, or on the Skype group this morning, Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers were really the foundational fiduciaries over this nation's chartered constitutional governments. Therefore, when a man reaches the mature age of 25, the usage of the word fiduciary has a special American meaning, that of American father. Because, therefore, fiduciary and father mean the same thing. A father in this country, and basically until they screwed with the goddamn families in this country, by getting women to be on the same plateau, just like Eve did to Adam, and screwed up the process way back at the very beginning. Instead of sticking by her man, she usurped his authority and said, "Oh, I'm going to eat that damn apple. I don't give a shit what the hell you say." The churches had a big hand in this damn process, too, of getting the women to basically belittle the men, take their authority away from them. The bankers love this because the women are the weaker sex of the two. And the bankers have every means to control the women out here. Mainly through vanity and pride. Two of the cardinal sins that are out here. Huh?
Why don't we change the conversation? You are inciting me to say a bunch of things. I don't think you need to get into
I don't give a shit what the hell I'm saying. I'm telling you like it is, woman.
No,
woman,
well,
I am telling you like it is, okay?
No, that's your interpretation.
Now, shut up and listen.
Really didn't happen. That really didn't happen. It's all symbolism.
Bullshit, it didn't happen.
Were you there?
It's all in the damn Bible. How many times do you have to have it written in the Bible? It's numerous times there.
Men wrote the Bible.
Who has the authority to write the Bible? Not a woman, okay?
No, I'm talking about the moment of creation and why it was written the way it was written. If you
Where
want
did women come from?
Interpretation,
women came from man in the very beginning then, okay?
No.
So shut up.
No.
Okay?
No.
Go back to Argentina, please.
No. Thank you.
Yes. You basically come up with some of the most off-the-wall bullshit that I've ever seen a woman come up with.
Be friendly. Look,
okay?
Be friendly.
Please try your
Tom,
call again later.
Tom, mute her out.
Message CR52. Welcome to iWireless. The customer you have dialed is...
Okay? You mute her out, Tom?
Yep.
I do not hate women, okay? Let me get that perfectly clear to you people. I love women. They have their rights in their own regards, but they do not have the right to usurp a man's authority. And that's what the bankers have gotten by giving women the right to vote. They destroyed the power of a man's vote in this country. They have been controlled by the bankers to totally destroy the country. This country basically will be destroyed next year when they elect Hillary Clinton as president of this country. Mark my word. And if anybody has any rebuttal to that, basically speak now or forever hold your goddamn peace.
Can you hear me, Patrick?
What?
Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Something to say to that. Man, this whole thing, it goes a little bit beyond that, I think, because, I mean, everything you're saying about the voting rights and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's right. But when they took that man out of the household and broke the families up, that really was paramount as well in an aspect of this thing. Because
right, that's what they tried to do, basically with man in coming out of Africa and basically out of all these other countries too. Basically, when they did that, they took the authority of a man to have his authority over his estate.
That's right.
Okay? The estate of man. Okay? Everything belongs to the man in the estate. Now, in this country, basically, a dowry was to be given to a woman. Okay? So that she had something to bring to the marriage. That is as old, all the way back into the Bible. Okay? That a woman was to have a dowry. And then if a man divorced the woman, he was to give her dowry back to her. He could not leave her penniless.
Unless she did something against the marriage, then he could leave her penniless. What's that with the shoe? He can, somebody get hit with the shoe or something like that. I think that's in the script. I think I know it. I can't remember, but I mean, y'all should know what I mean. If she defiled the marriage or committed adultery, he could leave her penniless. He didn't have to leave her with anything after that.
Right. Then she would have to try and latch on to that other person that she committed adultery with to have him bring her into his fold.
That's right, and especially if she didn't get killed for it in the first place. So.
Right. But all the children of the marriage belong to the estate. Okay, which was under the jurisdictional control of the man. The family trust is basically the one and only trust that's out there. The family trust. And basically that really has no monetary value in it. It is basically ethics. The trust of ethics in a family, of right and wrong. Nothing was supposed to be done under a democracy in the process by way of vote. It was supposed to be under common understanding of right and wrong. How many empires have fallen? Quite a few of them. Why have these empires fallen? Most all empires have fallen when basically the females have taken over the empire. The fall of Rome was completed, not the complete fall of it, but basically the usurpation of it was by the church, the female side of the Roman Empire. The Babylonian empires, the Grecian empires, basically when the women took control away from the men, those empires collapsed. The English Empire, when basically the powers shifted over to the queens, the empire collapsed and was on its downhill side. This is documented more times than not. So you can try and rebut it if you want to. But I think I've got more facts on my side of the aisle than on the female side to say, oh, yeah, it's all man's fault. That's bullshit.
It's a divide and conquer tactic.
Yeah, that's what the bankers do.
And then they get the man and woman to split up. You've got kids in the middle. You've got assets, right? And you've got people whose lives are ruined.
Yeah.
A terrible thing over your house.
No, I disagree to a point because when I mean, that's what fucked it up all in the first place was when the man got hold of this whole thing, because then he want to stick his dick all up in the air and shit, start building skyscrapers, and then he want to use his ego, and it was a whole big old mess because of all of that, man. That wasn't because of the female, that was because of him.
Behind every man, there's a woman. Mark my word.
Well, I mean, if it was, then that was a good thing. That wasn't a bad thing. Because
the woman stayed and supported her man, okay?
Exactly.
But when she wanted something more than the man could supply, the man basically turned around and went against the moral ethics in the process to turn around and make the woman happy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Just like Ahab and Jezebel. Just like Ahab and Jezebel.
Dan, check this out, Dan. Then why is it that the man and his ego, I mean, especially in regards to the church, it was forbidden for them to even mess with women because most of them guys was homosexual in the first place. So of course they didn't have no place for no woman. That's why they made it a man's society.
No, the man's society was beginning at the very beginning. Okay, if he wanted women to rule, he would have made woman first and then man.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Patrick, ain't nobody on this planet came through no goddamn dick. Everybody came through some pussy, man. So we can argue that. Let's disagree to agree because everybody came through the womb, man. Everybody.
Okay. Let's put it this way, okay? Very simple fact. Who has PMS? The man or the woman?
Pre-man syndrome? That could go either way, depends on who you ask.
No, it can't, okay?
Okay, I'm just trying to be objective, man. I mean, I'm playing devil.
No, you don't be objective. That's the female bullshit, okay? You've got to stand as a man, okay? Get off this female side that you're trying to contemplate and kiss ass with a female. Okay?
The only difference between a man and that woman is that woman...
She is totally out of it for several days. Okay? That's what PMS is all about. She's a total bitch most of the time.
Okay, fine, but men have PMS too. We have cycles just like that woman does. Most of us.
No, we don't.
Okay.
We can get pissed. We can get pissed, but we're not having PMS to get pissed at.
All right.
You've never had PMS, so you don't know. But basically, it's a proven fact, okay? Facts do not lie. Now, all I'm saying is that man in this country was to be the father in the country, the estate owner. We were supposed to be here to protect the women. Okay? Not like half these damn movies out here to where the women's running around trying to kick ass at the same level as a man. Yeah, they get all pumped up with steroids and everything else and maybe take on some of these wimpy-ass men and beat the living shit out of them. But that's not what is right. That is against all ethics.
Patrick, I'm only arguing the unit versus a non-unit. You need that unit for stuff to thrive. When you pick a side, that's when you mess up everything. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm not picking a side. Basically, I'm picking up the whole understanding. Mine is a complete circle in the understanding. It's not one-sided. It covers both sides of the coin. I have no sides, really. I'm just stating the facts. When you state the facts and basically you support your claims, then basically you will be able to stand against these entities out here that are trying to destroy what is good. Moses did that. Noah did that. Daniel did that. Jesus did that. Okay? They did not have prophets as females. Okay? They had the book of Ruth, but she was telling about what a woman's rights were. And basically, the woman's rights were basically to stand under her father, under the protections of her father, her husband, or her dead husband.
There were women prophets. The book, there was Nebiah, she was, and Deborah was a judge.
Message CR
when the men were afraid to go out to fight for
the customer you have dialed is not available or has traveled outside the coverage area.
I hate to say that, but basically that was written in, okay, to basically give the church power to say that there was women out here so that basically women could stand as equals to men. Okay? You claim that man wrote this in. Well, yes, some things were written in, but not for the truth. Is the book of Ruth the truth, or is this other writings the truth? When they contradict something, basically you better look at what the contradiction is. What were these prophets, these women prophets, and what were the, as a judge, what were they doing?
Well, basically, the men were afraid to go to war, and Barak asked Deborah to lead them in war, and she did, and they won. I can't tell you where it is right now, but
that's in the
that was basically the story about that for Deborah.
That's in the book of Judges. I know what that is.
The book of what?
Judges. She was a judge. That's in the Old Testament. But at the end of the day, you still can't reference this whole deal. Well, yes, you can. Never mind. Let me slow that one down. Yes, you can.
Well, then which one has the authority? Okay, which one's really speaking the truth? That book or the book of Ruth? There's a contradiction here.
I mean, but you got all kinds of contradictions, and if you want to talk about the Bible, there's a shitload of them in there, man.
Yes, in a lot of cases there are. You've got to look, and you've got to read between the lines.
So, I mean, we can get back to the class because, I mean, we wasting time with this.
No, because basically this still evolves around the foundation of what you need to do to take control of your charter. Okay? You have to stand as a man in this charter. You're the vessel owner. Now, a woman has a dowry vessel. Okay? So she has a right to claim her dowry. So she is a vessel owner in that capacity, but hers is a vessel dowry. Just like a military man also has a military bounty vessel. You've got to look at and understand the difference in the vessels that you have, that you're the owner of. That's really what I'm trying to get at here.
Thank you. I understand, Patrick.
Okay. But everything we do has to be a foreign affidavit as our statement under our oath to our God, and our God is our spirit. And your oath is basically your ethics of right and wrong. That is what your oath is. This is my truth. So your oath is to yourself. You're not making an oath to any false god. But you have to make an oath. And the thing about call no man your father is that when you reach the age of 25, you are mature and you're not to call anybody else your father, because you are now the father of your household, whether it is one or more than one. Whether you have 16 women in your household, it don't make a damn bit of difference. Just look at the Bible, how many women some of these households had. And how, in a lot of cases, they lived in harmony. Every once in a while, a couple of them got out of sync. But in modern day, boy, if you can control one, you're lucky. And she has to be one that shows true love to you. Sex is not love. Love is basically giving into the authority of the one who has the authority. I'm working on the W8BN substitute, foreign substitute W8BN, the foreign substitute Form 56, and the foreign substitute Form 56F, and having a foreign affidavit attached to each one of those, then they have to accept our documents. These will then stand that we are the fiduciary over both the vessel cargo in the Form 56, and then we are the fiduciary over the foreign vessel charterers and subcharterers and subfreighters with our estate EIN. Therefore, when we go into court, we go in both on the plaintiff side and the defense side, and also over that court, that judge, to give the order as an American vessel owner, and we stand in as the fiduciary over the charterers, subcharterers, and subfreighters. They cannot do basically a rebuttal of our authority at that point in time, a repudiation, or repudiation of the contract in it. We have the right to terminate that contract and liquidate that contract, that vessel charter contract, right now if we're over the age of 25, because it's matured. In that one document that I had Tom post there about the negotiable instruments, you will also see there that prior to maturity, you have rights to collapse that contract also, that chartering contract. We have to bring it into a port of entry into this country because they're holding our assets in a foreign port offshore in a safety deposit box or a safe deposit. We have the key. We have to use our key to bring it home and our authority. We do have the authority. And basically the man has the authority over the family. So he can bring all of his basically family cargoes home also. But you have to act like a father in the process. Just like the constitutions have it. Okay. Open it up, Tom, now for anybody that wants to rebuttal in the process.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, Patrick, I got a question. Man,
okay.
If the baby went to federal territory when the baby was born in the first place and left the baby in foreign territory when she left the hospital.
Service is provided by preconferencing.com.
Why can't the person, like you're saying, that didn't reach maturity Why can't he just go claim his titles back? Why can't he just do that and it's just end all the BS?
He can. That's what I'm saying. Read that document about negotiable instruments there, that it talks about claiming back your instrument in a pre-maturity position. It's got pre-maturity and after maturity in that document. It's got the outs right there. But you have to come in under your foreign affidavit of understanding in the process. And basically, that is covered also by the Expatriation Act as basically the Caesar's Clause that was added to the Constitution by way of statutes at large to give us that protection. Because the Declaration of Independence was to prevent any foreign chartering. Your independence was to be independent from any foreign charters. That's all that the Declaration of Independence was about. Go ahead.
On the birth certificate, they have a box that says if the child was born inside the corporate city limits or unincorporated. There's 2 boxes there. So that might mean if he was born in living in an unincorporated area, that means he would be foreign because he wasn't born in the corporate city limits.
Yeah, one is born in a city limits, okay? The other is born outside the city limits in the rural area, okay?
So that would make him foreign, right?
No. Basically, you become foreign by way that basically this certificate was processed over into Philadelphia, okay? And Philadelphia is located in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is a foreign state to your state, your birthing state. Okay? Now, if you were born in, basically this also went through the Bureau of Vital Statistics, and also by way of the state of whatever, which is a foreign government system. Okay? It's not the de jure government that you are a sovereignty of that stands over this republic government. You're now operating under a democracy government, and that is foreign to a republic government. So you're foreign in a lot of different aspects out here. And basically the family, if you're over the age of 25, you are foreign to them all because you're under your family government. Read what it says about a foreign state. Hell, here, I'll read it to you. Another state, another country, for all national purposes, embraced by the federal Constitution, the state and the citizens thereof are one, united under the same sovereignty authority. governed by the same laws. But in other respects, the states are necessarily foreign to and independent of each other. You got to read the buts. And see, that says that you are independent of that other state. Because you're in the state of man. Or the state of woman.
Hello, Patrick.
Yeah.
How are you this evening?
What?
How are you?
How am I? I'm okay.
Good. I was just in light of the fact that I happen to be female, to you.
Do I what? I love the
women.
female gender, okay?
Well, I'm not trying to be Patrick. I'm serious, you know.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, I'm not. If you said something, I didn't catch everything you said, so
Okay. What I was asking is whether or not the woman should be called father here, because you're saying
you are basically a father over your dowry. Okay.
I just wanted to be clear on that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a feeling that I was correct in my thinking. You know.
Yeah. You're a father
All
over
right.
your vessel in that capacity. Okay.
I gotcha.
Yeah. But as
Dual
far
genders,
as basically the
words.
Constitution goes and everything that the Republic goes, you are not a father in that regards.
I hear you.
Okay.
All
I
right.
hate to.
I'm going to
I
mute
don't
out
want
and
to. Yeah. I really don't want
you
to
wanted to be
antagonize
correct.
you. Yeah.
No, you're not antagonizing me. I mean, you know, I have my questions, and I think you understand and understand where I'm going. So
yeah,
I'm going to mute out now. Okay.
Okay. You have a good day.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I got a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
The foreign notaries. Okay, I live in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which I guess would be the state of Pennsylvania, as opposed to the Republic. But we have a unified court system here, and I understand we got to get it notarized by the clerk of courts or the county recorder. And since we're so incorporated here, what would be the other way we can get a foreign notary in the state if we don't?
Well, you're not getting a foreign notary, okay? You're getting an official government notary, okay? And basically, the official government notary is basically the clerk of the court or a county recorder or some other government office that has notary capability that was assigned to it by the state constitution, the Republic state constitution. Okay?
Yeah, that's hard to find in this state.
No, it's there. Okay? That clerk of the court is wearing two hats.
Okay.
That clerk or that recorder's office is wearing two hats. See, they have to have both hats in the system that they're operating in.
Okay.
Okay? So we know that basically the county recorder and basically at least here in my state, the county recorder and the clerk of the court both give notaries. Well, they're both state officials in the bottom line.
So Patrick, you can take that to
If not, then you go to the secretary of the state.
That's what I was going to say, too. That's just what I was about to
say. At the Capitol.
Get it notarized from the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
They also do notaries there. You don't need the apostille, but you need, and basically, you take a document up to the Secretary of State, and if you don't have it notarized, they will first notarize it and then apostille it for you. Of course, they'll charge you some money, but basically, even the clerk of the court and basically the county recorder will probably charge you $10 or something like that too.
Okay.
People have said that the UPS, United Parcel Service stores have a notary in them too. Would that be considered official?
No. Where does the UPS show up in the Constitution of the state? Come on, people. I said state officials.
But those UPS notaries have been deputized by the state.
No, they have been deputized by the corporate de jure or de facto state. Just like the notary at the bank. That UPS notary is no different than a commercial notary at the bank.
Okay, well, where do they get their seal from?
You get the de jure from a state authorized position, a county clerk of the court, a county recorder's office. They're state offices when it comes down to it because they were assigned those positions by the Constitution, by the Republic Constitution of the state. Come on, people, think about this. I don't want to tell you the damn laws of the state. Find them out for yourself. But don't go to no stinking commercial notary when the damn thing says foreign authorization by a state official. Foreign affidavit. Read the damn thing. Certificate of the county clerk or other proper officer of the foreign state.
Got it.
After this thing you did for the Notary Republic, these new documents you just put out, what are the definitions supposed to stay on here with it, with the exception of what's on the last sentence on the bottom page?
I'll be putting a new example out, and it says official notary public for Iowa State, Keokuk County. This is not the state of Iowa, it's the Iowa State. See, state of means it's a derivative of something else.
Yeah, of the corporation, yeah.
Yes, of the original chartered government. Department of. Basically, that's a derivative of the original constitutional department. That's why most all of our documents have not gotten accepted anywhere, because we did not have the proper recognition for them to be, that they had to be recognized. So if you guys want to play the game, you better get the official recognition so that they have to recognize our documents, or else you're just going to be barking up the wrong tree again, and you're not going to be going nowhere. It's your choice. And that's what so many people are doing. They're out coon hunting, and basically they're barking up a tree that has no coons up it.
Let me ask you this then. What does two witnesses represent? What classification does that fall in under, based on what you're saying?
Where does it say two witnesses in a foreign affidavit?
Okay, you're talking about that. I got you.
Doesn't say a thing about having two witnesses.
And even if you did, you could still use your fiction versus your live person, right?
Huh?
I say even if you did ask for two witnesses, you could still use your fictional person plus your living person, right?
No. It doesn't give you that option in this. It says, foreign affidavit, an affidavit involving a matter of concern in one state, but taken in another or country before an officer of that state or country.
Got it. So if it's an officer, yeah, it got to be, okay. Got to be from the
Yes.
country. Yeah.
Well, then I got a question, Patrick. Why can't we just use our seals for this? Since we acting in the foreign capacity anyway, we shouldn't need them.
Do what you want to do, okay? You want to do it right, or you want to do it half-ass, okay? Half-ass, you're not going to get anything done.
Just ask it, man. It just
okay? Read the definitions. Make up your own mind.
Yeah.
If you can find a way around it, and basically you can justify it, then do it. But I don't think there's any way around this. It says officer.
Good stuff.
The word fiduciary embraces those and only those who are bound for the discharge of express trust, technical trust, were a bond required to be given by law. That is a marriage. That is the fatherhead of the marriage. He is the fiduciary of that family trust. It's an express trust, a technical trust, and it's under a bond of matrimony that he is bound to be the fiduciary over the family. There can only be one in that capacity in the family. Not two. It's got to be one. And it doesn't have fiduciary yet. It also goes on to say, it does not include those engaged in the execution of trust springing from contract. But it doesn't say anything about a charter. See, they leave open ends here.
It sounds like that was like a loophole or a deviation of the natural or common law.
Right.
Do that. Yeah. That's what attorneys do. They attorney things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, even though a charter is a contract in a way, it is not a contract. It's a monetary instrument. Basically, what we have under charter is basically a promissory note. In this Social Security banking, public banking system, that's a promissory note. Read what it says about a note. A note is a notation. Okay? Then read what it says about notation. Okay? A writing appearing upon an instrument. Social Security is a writing that appears on that Social Security card. It's also a promise, a written promise. Social Security. To pay another a certain sum of money at a certain time. You go and look up what Social Security says. Basically, it says, in the broad sense, the welfare of the people with ample means of subsistence and enjoyment of life under the protection of the government. That is the broad sense. But the popular sense of what Social Security is the system which provides old age and survivors' benefits. That's not the whole sense of what Social Security is. Social Security Act, it says, a federal statute providing for the establishment of a nationwide federal and state system of old age assistance, old age and survivors insurance benefits, and unemployment insurance or compensation. But it's got plus some incidental benefits. Then you look up what an incidental beneficiary is. A person whom the benefits of a contract accrue merely as an incident to the performance of the contract. A person for whom benefits a contract is made may maintain an action thereupon or thereon. It must definitely appear, and however that the contract was made for his benefit, it is not sufficient that he is merely an incidental beneficiary. See, our Social Security person, okay, that is on that, he is an incidental beneficiary. he is not the beneficial owner. The charterer, Social Security person, administration, is a person. Social Security Administration is a person per the 14th Amendment. That's a corporation. So that corporation is a person. He is the beneficial owner. So you have an incidental beneficiary who is receiving a small pittance of your rents that they're being deposited into an account that only you have the key to, because you're the true vessel owner. You really are the one who owns the cargo. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, Patrick, back when you were talking about the Baby Act and the jurtation or something, you could say about denying the charges because you're a vessel owner, or you're it's basically like a king's court. Can you spell that word juritation again? I could listen to it on the tape, but is it G-U-R something? G-U-R-T-A?
Let me see. Where in the hell was I?
You said you can plea the Baby Act, but mostly because we're the vessel owner. I haven't read the Baby Act yet. I got to get familiar with that. But jurtation or jurtation or something.
Jurtation with a P.
I didn't catch that word or how the spelling was. You spelled it, but I'll have to listen to the recording. I don't want to waste time if you can't find it.
I thought the word was purgation. Purgation.
That's what it was.
To purge something.
Oh, purgation?
No, canological, CANONICAL, purgation, PURGATION.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
And that's an ancient proceeding wherein a defendant charged with crime was permitted to clear himself by denying the charge under oath.
Okay.
And see, I've used this basically, the judge basically threatened me with contempt of court in my traffic court.
Right.
I turned around and I said, basically, you can go ahead and charge me with contempt, but I will just turn around and purge myself of that contempt.
Right, that's a good thing to know.
I have the authority. I have the power based upon the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution.
Right.
Basically, the judge never brought up contempt of court again. He knew I was standing there, and basically I had more understanding than the common person that comes into his court. And he wasn't going to overstep that, because he knew that basically if I knew that much, I might be able to take his bar card away from him. because his contempt was totally unethical.
Right. And that's what you talked about that earlier.
Yeah. So he would be in violation of judicial ethics.
Yeah. Because it's not proper. So you've explained how important is the foreign affidavit is, and we'll get, experienced it, how to do that and what to include, and by listening to the tape over and over again, we'll know what to do.
Yeah, one of the other things basically in the dictionary is acceleration of maturity. The shortening of the time for the payment of a note or the payment of money called for by a contract, making all instrument to become due and payable prior to the maturity date stated therein by the payee's existence or exercise of an option provided him. The operation of an automatic provision for acceleration upon default.
And they are at default when they do bills of attainder too. I mean, isn't that just a violation? Nobody's really enforcing that.
That is a total violation of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Unless you have caused harm, you have breached the peace, okay? They have no right to basically put a bill of attainder against you. This country was founded upon no debtor's prison.
For yourself or your vehicle.
Right. It wasn't to be a debtor's prison.
Right.
And basically, it was not to confiscate private property. But see, the problem is that most people have leased their vehicle over to the state.
Mm-hmm.
So the state...
I would like to say this to you, Patrick. I don't think a lot of people seem to understand that they are property, okay? Until you understand who you are, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to fight that. And I try to tell people all the time, you need to research. You need to know that you yourself and me or I, we're all one. So I think I understand.
Right. And see, like the driver's license. You get a driver's license, you have now leased yourself to the state.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just like the automobile. When you get a certificate of title to the vehicle, you have leased yourself to the state.
Cohesive contracting.
Right. And basically now you've implied that you have consented to become a collateral for the state.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's where you have to do these foreign affidavits to break that presumption.
Yeah. Okay.
I told a police officer that my daughter was my property. And this was a sheriff now, and he was like, "That your daughter can't be your property." And I was like, "Well, man, I ain't finna argue with you about, your word versus my word. I already know what I know. You have to handle that on your end." And he was like, "Well, if you talking about that your daughter's property, well, then I can't help you."
Yes, but see, you have to do a foreign affidavit to rebut that claim. okay? And then you have to do an acceleration of maturity, and also under the Expatriation Act, okay, the Caesar's Clause to remove her chartering to the state or to the Social Security Administration.
Is that who I send those documents to? I send it to them, to the Secretary of State and the Social Security place in Baltimore, Maryland?
No. Basically, you're going to go into for the Social Security account for the acceleration of maturity against your child's Social Security account. You would send that into the port of entry, either in Philadelphia, under the Philadelphia Finance Center, or the Kansas City Finance Center.
Okay, so mine is Philly then.
Doing a Caesar's Clause against that charter. That is basically the Expatriation Act to terminate that foreign control, that foreign bondage. But you also have to have your foreign affidavit so that basically they have to recognize your documents when they're presented.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I've been in it, and I've been listening to you because my call keeps dropping as you have terrible signal out here. So when I go and I get myself out and I take my daughters with me, since they're 5, they'll probably be maybe 5 to 6 at the time. Are they a vessel? Are they dowry? How does that work?
Theirs would be basically classified as a dowry vessel in real terminology, okay? But it is an American BC vessel, an American Treasury BC vessel, birth certificate vessel. They have got an inheritance. Their inheritance would be really classified as basically a dowry, since they're a female. Okay?
Yep.
What about bastard children?
Well, basically, if you want to claim them, basically, into your estate, then basically you can bring them in. You have to make the claim of authority to have some sort of jurisdiction by adoption or something. Think about it. What would you do? Okay? Adoption. Basically, we've covered that, or I covered that years ago in the process. So all these words, basically, when you understand and start using the dictionary for what it really is to know and understand the words, then you can start making some headway. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
If not, Patrick.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said I guess not. There any questions here?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick, I was going to say, if an individual has a suspended driver's license and they want to renounce that contract, if they were to rescind the signature, would that stop the suspension and anything that they were bound to by the original contract, because you're basically tricked into the contract anyway? Most people sign it without knowing what it really means.
Well, basically, you just go in and tell them, hey, just go ahead and terminate that driver's license, because I'm not going to contract. You suspended it. Basically, I'm not going to reactivate it. Okay? Give me a state ID in place of it, because I'm not a driver. Put that under an affidavit, a foreign affidavit, and send it off to them.
And then you could travel. You would be able to travel that way, correct?
Well, in some regards. Now, you got to remember, you got the vehicle under a lease to the state, under a charter to the state. Now you're driving their chartered vehicle. Now you have to comply with their rules over that chartered vehicle. So you're going to have to get the vehicle unlicensed or unchartered with the state also.
Deregistered, yeah.
See, that's what I did when I got this new car. I didn't charter it with the state. The state has no jurisdiction over the vehicle. And I'm not a driver. So basically they can't charge me or the vehicle.
So if you just say if you were to purchase a vehicle and you weren't able to get the original C of O, but just say if it was a pre-driven vehicle or from private property,
you don't buy that one.
Okay.
You go to some dealer that will work with you. You do not register it. You get the manufacturer's title given to you and say, I will go down to the county treasurer and pay the taxes or register this if it's required by law. It's not.
That's the key word.
So I didn't go down and I didn't pay the taxes and I didn't pay or get it registered because it's not required by law. It's all voluntary. And something that's voluntary is not a requirement.
Exactly.
Yeah, public and private don't mix.
See, that's the thing. You have to look at what these words say.
You also have to look at the context of how they're said, too. You have to look into the context, you see, because a lot of people say a lot of things, but if you don't actually tear the word apart and try to understand, then it's hard. So. Yeah,
in some cases, you've got to go to more than one dictionary to try and find out what the true meaning of the word that they're using in the capacity in their statement. That's why I use about 5 or 6 different dictionaries.
All unabridged, of course.
I don't know what they are.
I don't believe that one now. I'm sure you do.
I'd also throw in, you can't ever trust any of the words that are in front of your face, especially if you think you know what those words mean, because there are terms of art in there.
And
well, also you have to understand the region, too. You know, some could be Latin. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things. You have to look at
Latin is very big in this whole process, too, because that is where a lot of the foundational words came from. Aramaic, if you understood Aramaic, but basically that was before the Roman language came into play, was Aramaic. Now, if you really want to go further back, you can go to Sanskrit. But I don't think there's too many people around that understand Sanskrit.
I've heard about it, but I don't know that much about it. I have a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
I am a notary, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, I got the notary seal and everything from the Secretary of State's office, okay? So are you indicating to me that I'm just a plain old, no good commercial notary or what?
Yes.
Well, that's all right. I will take that. But if I happen to notarize something for one of my brethren or whatever, I also carry them out to the county where I know who to see there. And so I have them to notarize that I am, okay, the one. So therefore, I think that would work. But you have to go step 1 and then 2. So
you can go to the Secretary of State's office. You can go to the Secretary of State's office and ask them if you can get a special official officer notary seal.
I will
authority.
Do that tomorrow.
See what they say.
I am a notary. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you want one that is a special notary authorization per the original charter, Republic Charter, Constitution of the state.
I will write that out verbatim, so I'll make sure that she gives me what I need.
Yeah, see if they will grant that. But in most cases, I would stick with the county recorder or the clerk of the court. Okay?
I got you. No problem.
And see, in most cases, if you have a court case or anything like that, the clerk of the court will not charge you for a foreign affidavit notarization if it's going into a court case.
And you are right about that. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I wanted to say one more thing, Patrick. In Will County, Illinois, their court systems are so corrupt, operating under maritime law, that I tried to, like based on what you're saying right here, tried to get something notarized by them, and every office I went, they kept sending me to the clerk's office, to the administrative office. I even tried to go to the chief judge's office, and they all were like trying to shuffle me around from different areas, but they were stating that there are no notaries in this building, on the premises. And I'm like, how can this be a court system and there's no notaries in here? And when you see there, any affidavit that they have or any of their documents is always signed by an employee that is not a notary. And
this was the county courthouse?
Yeah, Will County Court. Very corrupt.
No, Will County Court or the county courthouse for Will County.
Yes, the Will County courthouse. Yeah, the whole system is it's one building with different floors. The jail, they have if they put you in jail there, they'll walk you through, the tunnels downstairs to take you over to the jail building. But the courthouse itself, where everybody have traffic, you'll see on any day, Monday through Friday, lines around the corner for traffic, literally.
Yeah, and see, basically, in a lot of cases, that is basically the de facto court system is running that off of the de jure courthouse. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That clerk of the court, you've got to address that you're coming into them in their de jure constitutional capacity.
That should be stated in your paperwork, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't want to
visit or what?
If they don't, then you try and go to the county recorder's office. Okay? In some cases, you'll get better response out of the county recorder's office if you're really operating with a screwed up court system, de facto court system, that basically is totally out there and controlled by these rogue judges. And Illinois has a bunch of rogue judges out there that basically people should be filing judicial ethics charges against them.
Yeah. Sounds like Pennsylvania.
Man, it sounds like where I'm at too. Patrick,
they're making so much money off of traffic. It's ridiculous. I'm talking about not to stray off the subject, but or change the lesson, but I'm telling you, I've watched females come in there, young girls, no matter what your age is, gender, color, they so-called color. They will be first-time offenders.
Illinois is so corrupt in basically the Department of Transportation that it is totally ridiculous, okay?
Yes.
Even one of the governors basically came up as basically, I forget what the hell his damn name was, but shit, he was in charge of the damn Department of Transportation, and he was out there giving driver's licenses to all the Mexicans that came in. And basically,
that was Ryan. That was Ryan.
Yeah. Okay.
He just got out of jail. He did his 6 years. But what I was going to say, people who never had a traffic offense whatsoever, they'll be caught like driving 10, 15 miles over the limit. What they're doing, they're giving them like $300 fine, community service, and 30 days in jail. All three different penalties on one misdemeanor so-called traffic offense. Seriously, I watched them do it. And the lines are around the corner, so you know what kind of money they're making.
Yeah, because basically they've got the people totally buffaloed there in Illinois.
Yeah, because we don't know who.
Tell them to start listening to this damn nitwit over here in Iowa, and basically they might learn something.
I have a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
In regards to the notary.
To being a nitwit?
I'm not touching that. What I'm going to ask you about are the notaries, okay? I have noticed with every mortgage I have ever had that they tell you to sign here, okay? And at the end, when you get all your paperwork back, it has this notary seal on there. Now, I'm thinking about going back and suing every last one of them, mainly because it is illegal for them to indicate that there was a notary there or to put the notary seal on there and you didn't see who the hell it was who notarized, okay?
Right.
All your documents. So
they never verified that was your signature.
They never verified, and that is one way.
That is a violation of the law right there.
Exactly, and that's what I'm going to do once I get everything squared away.
But who are you going after? The notary? Okay.
The notary,
or are you going
and
after
also the lender?
Basically, that is the one who basically put that person into the position of liability on the process, is basically that bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing I wanted to say. In light of that, you know a lot, but I'm going to ask you this one question. How would a person be able to verify in a courtroom that is their signature? And I know you've heard in the courtroom where the judge would say, "Is this your signature?" And you look at it, you turn it upside down, you hold it up to the light, and you say, "It looks like it." But tell me how you would prove that.
Okay. Basically, I would come in with a foreign affidavit in the process that I stand over this whole court. See, it's a maritime court. And see, everything out here was done by charter.
Right,
okay?
But people, they're not in tune with that.
I know.
So I'm going to tell you what
they're
I
not
say.
To do anything else, they have to have some understanding. I'm giving you very simple understanding and very simple process. It don't take
I'm going to give you one simpler
hours.
than that.
It takes less than 24 hours to go out and get a state EIN. Now,
right,
you
but
turn around and
even if you don't do that, Patrick, I'm trying to tell you something so you'll get this real quick. The only way to verify, and I want all of you to tune into this now, when you get ready to sign on all of your documents, you take your thumbprint. No. You take your thumb. You put a little saliva on that thumb. Take off the excess. Do not say anything to anyone as to what you're doing, and put that thumbprint right over your signature.
DNA.
And then when that then when that judge says to you, is this your signature? And then you can honestly say, excuse me, Your Honor, there's no way that I can verify this unless I have a DNA specialist. Now, you can get one and I'll get one. And that's how I'm able to do these things. And I'm telling you all, that will save you a lot of money. Don't say anything.
Fiction does not have DNA. Okay, I've made that statement before.
That's correct. That's correct. So I'm just letting you know some of the things that I have written about, and so I wanted to share that with the group.
Well, I got a
it'll save you a lot of money.
A DNA what? What do you say to the administrator? You won't be able to tell unless there's a DNA what?
Okay.
A DNA test.
Normally, specialist, yes.
Specialist.
You're going to request.
This has to go under a DNA sampling
test.
Okay.
Exactly. And if you don't want to use your own spit,
in a rape case, okay? A rape case.
Correct.
You're getting raped, okay? I want my DNA proved here. Because basically, what is all their court actions about? Basically, they're out there to rape the hell out of you.
And literally, that's what they're doing.
I got a question.
And that's why I'm doing what?
And basically, in a lot of cases, you bring that up, and basically, the judge is going to dismiss that case.
Normally, but see, I learned this all through trial and error. And when I realized that after they pushed us out of the courtroom, what had happened, no stamps on it anywhere. I said, But see, there is no time limit on fraud and murder. So once I get things really going, I'm going back.
Or taxes.
Going back. And that's right. That's right. So I just thought I would share that with you.
Can I ask my question now?
It's good information, sis.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome.
What if they say, well, I can't accept this because your DNA it could be like you might have AIDS or something, so we can't accept this document.
Well, you know what? It will be shown. If you had AIDS before you sign it, you have AIDS today, okay? So there's nothing that they could say. It would have to show up. And if you don't want to put saliva on your finger, take your finger and put it up under the armpit, anywhere where there is some secretion. Keep it above board, okay?
Right.
I'm going to mute out.
I asked that question because, I took some documents to the county recorder, and I had my little ink stamp on there, my little emboss or whatever, and they talk about, is this blood? Is this real blood? And, because if it is, we can't take these documents if it is, and so forth and so on. And that's why I brought
You don't put the fingerprint on there until you do the signing in front of them.
And plus, you do not say anything. You do not tell them anything. Because if you tell them, I'm sorry, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. lied in the first place because they said that there was a notary there. I'd be willing to bet you there has never been a real notary. Every now and then, but I tell you, over half the time, there is no notary. Then when you get the documents back, somebody else's, they lied because they did not see you. They did not read your information. They don't know you from anyone else.
True.
So that's
now,
why I'm saying.
One of the other places that I've gone and got a notary, okay, and basically every sheriff's office also has to have a notary there at the sheriff's office.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because of the prisoners basically doing documents, they have to be able to notarize a document for a prisoner. Now, at the sheriff's office, they here in Keokuk County, Iowa, they don't charge for that notary.
They may not charge, but they get it on the end road anyway. So, I mean, you're in jail forever.
Yeah, basically in a roundabout way. In most cases, they always get paid, okay?
Usury on the back end.
But see, the sheriff the sheriff's office is normally a de jure office of the state. The county sheriff's office is also a de jure assigned county office, state county office. Okay? And normally they have at least one or two. Normally the secretary or one of the deputies has the notary authority. And both at the clerk of the court, the sheriff's office, and the county recorder's office. Now the county recorder and the clerk of the court, if I'm not submitting a document into the court action to get a notary from the clerk of the court or the county recorder, they charge $10 here to get them notarized. Now, in all three places, I have taken my little red ink stamp and basically I have licked my finger, placed it on the stamp, and then put my thumbprint on there after I signed the document in blue ink in front of the notary. Then the notary has notarized those documents for me.
All right. Which is correct.
Yeah. That's the correct process that you would do. Lick your finger right in front of them. I mean, what the hell?
That's right. Yeah, but when you're dealing with snakes, you know, you just have to be prepared. You see.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as long as they're not touching the red ink, basically, it ain't gonna run over there and jump down their bloodstream. I mean, it's not like you go in there and you prick your finger and you have blood coming out, okay? They
I agree.
Yeah, they're scared to death of blood, but they're not necessarily scared of spittle. Which don't make that much sense, but basically that's the facts of life.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't got these documents out. I was hoping to have more done, but basically sometimes it just takes me like several hours to try and figure out that one last night about the fiduciary and about the father, the founding fathers, what they were in comparison to being a fiduciary, and then basically giving us our authority as a fiduciary over the government. when we come of age, when we mature.
Well, we'll eagerly await them when you have them, Patrick, although we know you want to get it right first.
Yeah. And I do think we have a little more time. I was thinking that basically it was going to be this year, but I don't think it's going to be, based upon the fact that I think the complete collapse of this country will take place when Hillary gets elected as president.
But aren't they floating around rumors right now that the FBI that they're trying to arrest her right now for treason? Or is that something?
They should have arrested her a long time ago if they were going to arrest her for treason. Basically, the bankers have shut down the FBI. They shut down the FBI basically in the whole 9/11 fiasco.
Hillary is the Wall Street's choice.
She works for the cabal. She works for the criminal cabal.
Yeah.
They all do. Ain't no secret.
Yeah, but they think she's the best choice. So she's probably giving them the most promises.
Well, she had a promise by, I forget what her name is, Martha Huntington or whatever, that back when she was going to divorce Bill down in Arkansas when he was Attorney General. And Martha Huntington basically told her to get back with Bill, that she would be rewarded down the road. And the reward's going to be that she's going to be the first female president of this country.
Well, I understand she's part of the Rothschild line. Rodham, the family, is part of the Rothschild line.
She is a full-blooded communist from the word go. Red, blue, black, I don't care what color communist she is. Basically, she's a damn communist. And then she's also a bull dyke.
Well, she got to get it from somewhere. Her husband wasn't giving it to her.
Yeah.
I have to ask you two men. I mean, how do either of you know what she is or is not? Were you all there? That's all I want to know.
Oh yeah, basically, I could tell you right now, okay, that basically, from a fact, that Bill was not having sexual relationships with
that woman. I know.
No, with
Monica Lewinsky.
Dee Dee Myers. Okay, Dee Dee Myers was basically the public relation person there in the White House in the Bill Clinton era when he was having his under the table affairs with that other girl, Monica Lewinsky, or whatever her name was. But basically, Dee Dee Myers basically came down several times, completely befuddled in the White House. Okay, she'd been there all night. And basically, who was she sleeping with?
Hell no.
It wasn't Bill.
Yeah, but my goodness.
And basically, it's been a known fact that basically Hillary did not want to have sexual relationships with Bill, even though she had a kid. Okay? I know a lot of these things from basic understandings because my ex-wife basically turned over and became a lesbian. She was a lesbian before I met her, but I didn't know that. I had to find out later on and basically that she went totally that way.
This conversation is on notaries and all these other things. There's no proof that's slanderous, even though you may think it.
I have made these statements numerous times out there, and basically people have been hearing me, and nobody has charged me with slander yet.
No, I'm not going because I wasn't there. I don't know.
I just want to say whether
but I mean the government listens into half of this stuff, and basically they haven't brought any slander charges against me. Bring them.
Well, I'm
Bring them
glad
on.
they haven't. We really don't want to lose you. You know?
They ain't gonna be able to do a damn thing about it.
You're a mess. That's all I say.
Because I'll do a foreign affidavit against them.
They hide other truths in your face. So why wouldn't that be a truth? I mean, seriously. I mean, you know, there's all kind of corruption going on. That's why they push that homosexuality agenda. They push it down your throats right now and trying to make everybody accept it as if it's a green light. Like I have to accept that. You know, you do what you want behind closed doors, but publicly, I mean, they're running everybody. They want to control your thoughts, what you eat, how you direct your children. It's garbage.
That's true.
That's communistic. It really is.
Man, and see, all of these women that are basically in wives of key officials, they're in Washington D.C. They are nothing but
concubines. Now we're not going to. Wait a minute.
They're
nothing
but
do the
concubines.
same thing in regards to the men
They were groomed to be the bedfellow of those people in the office. Okay, most of the men in the office went to a like Yale University or something like that, and they became in the
some switch as well.
Okay?
So that's all I got to say.
Okay, the females went to Radford and basically some of these other girls' schools, and basically they had their secret societies and rituals too.
Yes, I know where you're going with that. I'm familiar.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah.
Well, anyway, Patrick, I've enjoyed this call this evening, and you know, like I said, keep in mind always wet that finger so that you can put it on your documents and it'll keep you safe, you know, down the way. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
Did you say wet the finger?
No, I mean from the standpoint. I'm getting off the phone. You all are going forth.
Yeah, I
somewhere.
take a red ink pad and basically then just lick my finger, just saying, well, I'm just trying to wet it so that I get some ink.
I'm tuning out. You all have a great evening, okay? Peace and love.
Okay, any other questions on getting these things into Kansas City or Philadelphia and trying to terminate these accounts like the Wizard of Oz said? Oh, you liquidated her. Yeah, get rid of her. Didn't like her anyway.
Patrick, if everything is done correctly, the process would take about how long?
37 days.
It should be completed in 5 banking days. To bring that cargo in from Puerto Rico, have it cleaned up and purified, and all the bristles removed from the broom, just like in The Wizard of Oz. Basically, all the bristles got burned off the broomstick, and basically, what was Dorothy given? The broomstick. And then she had to present that to the wizard.
What about the flying monkeys?
Oh, the flying monkeys, they were just monkeys monkeying around.
Yeah, those are probably just the police officers, the pawns that don't know, you know, why they're doing what they're doing.
That basically they stood down, okay, in the process. When the evil witch was gone, basically they had to turn to being under somebody else's control, which now became under the du jour.
Yeah, so many subliminal messages in that story, so many.
Mm-hmm.
Another good one is watch the movie Moby Dick. I said this before. That movie was basically, the book was written in 1851. It was written prior to the 14th Amendment coming into play, because this guy was trying to tell and warn the American people about the whaling of the white man in this country that was getting ready to take place. All whaling ships are basically put out to sea under a charter. Who are they out here whaling right now? At that point in time when that book was written, they already had most of the black men and the Indians under their control. So who didn't they have under their control? The American white man. That's who they were coming out to whale against, and that's the correlation of Moby Dick being a white whale.
Patrick.
Yes.
I have one question in regards to your statement in regards to the white man. If you look into Black's Law, the 4th edition, a free white person is not a white man. It is a Caucasian.
We're really pink.
I'm not going there with you, Patrick. Okay, I'm just trying to give you some ethics right now. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to put that in the picture. So go ahead.
Yeah. I operate under the statement that basically goes all the way back into the Irish. That basically an Irishman is just a black man turned inside out.
I've heard that before too. Whether I believe it or not is another thing. But
basically coming into this country, the Irish were treated just as bad, if not worse, than a lot of the black people coming over as slaves. Indentured servitude was what most of the Irish came over here into this country as, and the indentured servitude was far worse in the northern states than a lot of the southern plantation owners treating their workers on their plantation.
Indigenous people then.
Yeah, Patrick, but when the Irish came over here, that's when slavery got a whole lot worse for the black folks, man. They started messing. That's when slavery got real ruthless, man. When all them Irish and other ethnics came over here.
Well, basically that was because of the money changers up north, basically putting the screws to the southern plantation owners and controlling the price of cotton and peanuts and a few other commodities down in the southern states.
That's right.
That's why the plantation owners now had to basically try and to still maintain a profit. So basically then the plantation owners took it out on the slaves. It's all about money when you really sit down and analyze what has transpired out here.
Everything.
The main source of funding for the Confederacy was Wall Street.
Well, no, it was really coming out of the Church of Rome funding, and basically the bankers from that aspect, and basically then you had the northern side being funded by the Rothschild Bank out of England, but you had France and the Church of Rome funding the southern states. And then you had Russia sitting off the coast trying to protect us, and that's why they came after the Tsar later on and annihilated his family, because Russia tried to protect America.
But who was funding both sides of the Civil War? Wasn't the Rothschilds?
Yes, basically the Rothschilds out of France and the Rothschilds out of England, and basically the Rothschilds basically also had ties into the Vatican banking, mercantile banking system in Rome under the White Church.
It's kind of weird how Rothschilds or Bilderbergs or any of these so-called groups that how they can control the world, but I've heard it said that they literally are dealing with Satan, literally, and this is where they're getting some of their power or whatever. But how is it that a small group can have this much control without being overthrown by now?
It's all
because
diabolical.
They have control over the judicial or the governments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the governments are controlled by them, and basically there's so many hitmen, okay, just like the mafiosa, okay. The mafia basically is operating under the same scenario. But see, basically, I'm trying to think of the guy's name there in Chicago. Al Capone. If Al Capone would have not tried to break away from the system, he basically would have been in charge of Chicago. More so than what he was.
Patrick, this is Mary.
Yeah.
I just have a couple of specific questions on the W-8 BEN substitute for the SS vessel owner. On numbers 6, 7, and 8, I wanted to clarify which numbers we were using. So 6 I have as the Social Security number with the dashes. And 7 is the estate EIN.
I'm going to be putting a new template out probably tomorrow morning, okay?
Okay.
Okay. On number 6, it will be basically foreign Social Security chartered vessel, more domain beneficiary name. Next line will be an offshore SS safe deposit account number. That will be your Social Security number without any dashes. And then the foreign offshore SS bank routing number, that will be your Social Security number with the dashes.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense, yes.
And then basically also you'll have a line 7. And this will be a foreign subchartered Medicare vessel, more domain beneficiary name that's on your Medicare account, and offshore Medicare safe deposit account number. And normally that will be your Social Security number without any dashes, plus a letter. Okay? Like in my case, they have an A behind my Social Security number. And then the foreign offshore bank routing number is still just the Social Security number with the dashes.
Hey,
now,
Pat.
I also, in my case, I have a third subcharter vessel. It's a selective service military VA vessel. And that one is operated under the Social Security bank routing number again. But the VA or the offshore VA safe deposit account number is my selective service number without any dashes.
Okay.
And then next one, when I go down to the maritime estate matured mortgage claim, as an EIN exemption identification number, that will be my estate EIN number.
All right, that's clarifying it up. Okay.
Yeah. And then the next line down will be the vessel's owner's agent, fiduciary, attorney-in-fact, EIN, employment identification number, and that will be my individual banker's number.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Hey, Patrick, I was going to say, when you said you have the letter A on the back of your Social Security card in front of those numbers in the back, those bond numbers?
This is for Medicare.
Oh,
Medicare.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that is another vessel. You paid into Medicare at the same time you were paying into Social Security. So the Medicare is sitting off as another vessel. It's a sub-chartered vessel.
So take control of all of them. Perfect.
Right. We've got to go in and basically claim all of those that are being held in these offshore accounts down there in Puerto Rico. That's where the foreign vessel cargo is at Puerto Rico. And as far as I can see, it's under the Governmental Development Bank of Puerto Rico, which is under the control of the Treasury, Secretary of Treasury of Puerto Rico.
Patrick, are you going to have a Medicare claim even if you're not 65 years old?
You paid into it. It's fully funded.
Yep.
Okay, where do you get the number that follows your was the letter A in your case?
Basically, you should get a statement for your Medicare. Call up the Social Security Administration and say, I want a statement of basically all the payments that I've made into Social Security and Medicare.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And basically, I forget what that other document is. You can get a complete printout of all of that. It's going to cost you altogether, if you get the certified copy of it, about $196 or something, I think. I talked about that about a month ago.
192, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I forget the form number, but it was 80-something.
Yeah, let me look in the folder.
8,000 or something.
I'll look at the folder here.
8070.
Any other questions?
Yes, not.
Yeah.
It looks like there's no more questions, Patrick.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Good call. Good participation.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess there's no more questions, Patrick.
Okay. No more questions?
Guess not. We've had a nice full session. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. We'll catch you guys later, then.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, good night.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.